This watch is so cocky, it actually says, "I'm an icon." Come on, man! Hello and welcome to Fresh Faces, the watch channel that promises you honest, independent and well-informed information on watches. And today I couldn't be more excited because today we are having a real icon on our show. It is the Blancpain 50 Fathoms Automatique in ebony black with a satin brushed titanium case. I've never seen this shade of black before because it's deep and slightly grayish, but also has a very fine finishing to it. But before I'm getting lost in all these beautiful details, let me first tell you why this is such an icon. To start with that cool name, 50 Fathoms, that really doesn't sound like a watch to me. According to its creator, Mr. Fichte, the name was inspired by the phrase "full fathom 5", which is a catchphrase from The Tempest, a play by William Shakespeare. The 50 Fathoms was first introduced in 1953 and it's considered the first diver's tool watch. After a near-fatal diving experience in 1950, co-CEO Mr. Fichte found he had to make a timing device for divers. He happened to be neighbors with case makers and they started experimenting. From the offset, it stood out because of its technical and aesthetic features. Its rotating bezel, O-ring sealing, large hour markers, white on black design and instrumental looks have become benchmarks for the watchmaking industry. The watch was first chosen by the French military diving corps and later the Germans and even the US Navy followed, paving the way for the now famous mil-spec models. Already in the 1960s they started experimenting with titanium in the mil-spec 2 models for US Navy minesweepers. Blancpain was founded in 1735 deep in the Swiss Jura Mountains in a village called Villeret, and it could be called the oldest watch company in the world, although it nearly fell victim to the quartz crisis of the 70s and 80s. When the watch company was sold in 1983, the production of the 50 Fathoms halted, but after Blancpain revived in the 1990s to great success, the 50 Fathoms surfaced as its one true icon. And it really does show its enormous appeal immediately. This is just so much watch. It has a 45mm titanium case. Look to look, it measures nearly 15mm. It is 15.4mm thick and has quite a very serious birthmark on the side. But don't let all these big statements fool you. This watch has more detailing than a Tolstoy novel. Now, if you haven't already done so, please do like and subscribe. Now, this watch is an icon. Blancpain knows it and they really spent a lot of time on the detailing to make this really one of the best watches that horology has to offer. For example, the beautifully shaped sword-like hands that have the perfect length, and even the screws that hold the strap are nicely finished. Date windows in dive watches are always tricky, but this one is very nicely hidden between 4 and 5 o'clock, so the perfect look of the dial is not interrupted by it. This update was done in 2007 and I think they could not have done it any better. And that's not the end of it. Now, one thing I really passionately love is that domed bezel. The domed sapphire crystal bezel was inspired by the original bezel of the 53 model, which, contrary to most people believe, was not made of bakelite but acrylic. But there is one thing I love even more. It has a glass case back. And it's still 300 meters water resistant. The view is a real treat indeed. The movement is called the calibre 1315 and was introduced in 2007 after a development period of 3 years. It is a very modern interpretation of classic watchmaking. The rotor block lies slightly higher, giving some good looking depth to the movement. Under it, the base plate has very fine but large circular graining with beautiful anglage around the edges and a very cool dark grey rotor that it's made of 18K gold. Under its good looks lies innovation as well, with the rotor arbor pivoting in a ceramic ring that doesn't need oil. It also has a high-tech silicon free sprung balance with gold regulation screws. But its main asset is a massive 5-day power reserve coming from 3 series coupled barrels. Furthermore, the strap is made of silk cloth like nylon with a rubber inlay for enhanced durability. So, do you have any downsides? Well, maybe. Actually, the domed glass has a little bit too much reflection to my personal taste. And I didn't think I was going to say this, as the watch is very generously sized, but it would benefit from a little bit of longer lugs, which would fit the wrist just a little bit better. Which really is the only thing that should be larger, because the rest certainly is big enough. And that definitely includes the price, which is 14,800 euros. And that really brings us to the question more important than what is the meaning of the black holes in the universe. Is this watch cock or is it cool? Oh yeah, that's definitely true. This watch is so cocky. It actually says, I'm an icon. Come on, man. And indeed, looking at it from every angle, this watch has everything to offer that a great dive watch should give. Its history is undisputed, and its looks are as distinguished as the taste of a good but strong Islay whiskey. So, I would like to finish this review with the words of wisdom that the US Navy wrote after testing this watch. No worthwhile suggestions for improvement of this watch can be made. Period.